Well, really, technically it's 8:30. Well, no, it's 7:30. It used to be 8:30 a couple of days ago. It's now 7:30. And a nice day. Cloudy and overcast, but it's nice. I like it. So I'm just I've just finished doing all my chores this morning. I'm just filling up a bit of water in one of the buckets that I had to clean out this morning, and then I'm completely done. And then I'm just waiting on one of my riding ladies to come out and do some work with the horses. Might actually take Zara out again. I took Zara out yesterday. I was not very good because I didn't feel well, but I did take her out. I rode for a couple of minutes, but not long. But she enjoyed just going for a walk and getting the heck outside. It was for her happy. She was happy. I think had I not felt dizzy, I would have had a good ride, but I did get on, and that's the main thing. I didn't not get on. I did push myself, and I did get out of the house and move, despite not feeling like it. So it's important to always at least give it a go, even when you're feeling a bit crook. We've got a bit of cloud there, but nothing major. I'm not worried about the clouds. The clouds don't bother me. My horses are pretty good. You can ride them. You can ride them with storms and stuff. I've been out on Zara in lightning storms where I got caught in a lightning storm right on top of a mountain, exposed to all the elements, and she was perfectly fine. She behaved beautifully, and no different to just an ordinary calm day. Depends on the type of storm. Hail, of course, they don't like. They'll start carrying on in hail, which I don't blame them. I'd carry on if I was stuck in a hailstorm too. So you can't blame them for that. But yeah, it's a good day. It's a lovely day to be outside doing something. Nice and cool, actually. It's a nice, bit fresh this morning. It's not the usual warmth that we've been having lately. So just having a look at what Ellie's got going there. She's got a little bird there. That little Billy Wagtail's there with her all the time. They're there every day. I don't think it's going to rain today. I've got a feeling we're going to miss the rain. At least this morning I don't think we're going to get any. So I think we'll take her for a walk up the road. And there's a couple of different ways we can go. Go for a bit of a wander, see how she behaves. She's really good. You can take her past other horses and stuff. She'll just do what you ask. So I'm not worried about other horses. If it was Ellie, I'd be a bit worried. But first we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how things go. Matter of fact, I'm getting a bit of a headache. Takes a while to fill up those water barrels. They have got a fair bit of, they hold a fair bit, 60 litres. So you literally got to put this one through about 8 or 9 times, fill it up to get it full. I won't fill it fully on this one because there is a little bit of a leak up the top point, so it'll be fine where it is right there. We'll see how we go. I'm really liking this weather though. I'm liking the clouds. They actually, I think those ones are actually real clouds. they smell like real clouds. I think there's some cloud seeding been done. But actually, I just felt it. You're kidding me. It's not going to rain now, is it? Please don't do it. It might bloody rain. Might have just been might not have been rain. Might have just been an odd drop. Sometimes you get 1 or 2 drops and that's it. This at Baddie. Hi, Baddie. I'm guessing you're a young person. Hope you're going well. Hope you had a lovely Easter. And hope you're having a good rest of your weekend and week for the next week. April's always a good time of year in Australia. It's nice weather in April. You get a lot of nice cool weather. I'm finished with that. Put this back where it belongs. Make sure this is turned off properly. And then we can roll over and see what the horse is doing. She's nearly done with her tea. She's actually smashed her bucket up. I can't believe it. She's done it again. Oh, it just keeps happening. They need to make huge buckets, taller buckets out of the rubber like that. They do make them, but they're very expensive. It's about $300 $300 for a rubber holder. And then they still manage to toss it out, even with that. What I will do is... Chat, love, don't get cranky. She's got a little bit left here. Not much. Still got a little bit in the bottom there, see? Want to finish that off? So yeah, I'll do that. I had a good Easter, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. What, you don't have to tell me what country you're in. I'm just curious as to what country you're in. If you're in Australia or if you're in Europe or the United States. Willie Wagtail up there, up on the line. He's having a bit of a cry out, telling everybody to get away from his babies, which are lurking around here somewhere. I just don't know where they're at. I've got to go grab my keys for the... I'll get them in a minute. I'll have a quick cup of tea before I start going doing stuff. I was lucky I slept last night. I went to sleep early, about 7 o'clock. I woke up about 10:30, and then I went back to sleep again until 4 o'clock. So that was good. I probably had 5 hours sleep, which is really a lot more than I usually get. That's for sure. So that was really lovely. I enjoy a good sleep, but I get tireder when I've slept well than what I do if I don't. It's weird like that. I think that's just a phenomenon that happens to everybody. How are you feeling today, girlie? How are you doing? Right. Had a big day yesterday. Went out for the first time in a few weeks. Comes the lovely little Willie Wagtail. There he is. Good day, mate. How are you today? He's beautiful. He grew up here. He's only a young'un. He only started this year. He's one of the fledglings that lived inside the horse house. So he's used to me because he sees me all the time from a baby. He's not frightened of me or anything like that. He's going to probably jump on Zara's back in a second. You going to get on her back? You good boy? He says, no, but I'll go near. I'll go down. I'll go down. Here comes his mate. Here he goes. There they go. Oh, there he is. He's on her back. Just like I thought he was going to do. Oh, off he goes again. He didn't stay long. Usually he stays on her back for a while. He might have went, nah, not today. She's having a good brekkie. Good girl. I got a bit annoyed with a mega church this morning. I don't agree with mega churches. I think they're money-making rackets. I don't like them. But I got a bit annoyed with one because I look at every single person in those mega churches and they're donned in all the most expensive clothing you can find, and you don't see any poor people in there. There's no poor people. There's no one that's poor. They're all wealthy. And I think, well, Jesus didn't hang around people like you. He hung around the poor people, the sick people, the people who had nothing. He hung around the people who were seen as the lowest in society. And I really have no time for churches who mollycoddle themselves and basically spend their whole time gathering more money and more money and more money. And, you watch their sermon once and then you send her, can you please give us money? No, I won't give you money. As a matter of fact, if Jesus was alive right now as a human, in the human form, he'd probably walk into that mega church and tip over every single table that was there and throw the pulpit. He'd probably have a go at the pastor. I'll tell you now, they are not actual Christians. They are fake people who are making a good lot of money, and they're very good at what they do. They're very good at pretending, but they are nothing like anything like a Christian should be. And I'm rough around the edges. I swear, I don't go to church anymore, and I don't engage with rich Christians either. They'll say, well, God blessed me. Well, God might have blessed them, but they're not supposed to hoard the blessing. They're supposed to then use the blessing to help other people, but they don't do it. They don't do things for free for anybody. They don't help anybody. This is the whole thing. If you're blessed enough to have things, you should share them with other people and use them in a way that's meant to help other people, not charging people money and asking for money for everything. It kind of takes away from the actual messages that God wants people to hear, which has nothing to do with churches and money. As a matter of fact, Jesus really disliked anything that was the semblance of a church back then. He didn't like the people that ran the temples. He often threw the temple money around and threw them out and told them off. And good on him. I mean, it's just they're hypocrites. It's hypocritical. So no wonder people that aren't Christians don't want anything to do with God or to be a Christian, because they see these mega churches hoarding all this money and then begging them for money. And then if they wanted to go into that church, they'll be shunned and turned away because they don't have the appropriate clothing. If Jesus Christ was inside that church, he would have that church full of the people that didn't look good, that were covered in crap and filthy, dirty people. He'd have them in there because he'd know they're the ones who need to hear the message and want to hear it, not the rich bastards. So that's the thing. And I've spent my whole life trying to do things as Jesus did, because I think that's the right way to treat other people, even when I didn't even believe in any God at all. I still followed the examples of Jesus Christ because I do believe that you should give back, and in whatever way you can. And have things, but use the things to help other people. Don't hoard them just for yourself. That's how I see it. I don't charge people to come and ride my horses at all. They just come out, and I've taught many people to ride. I've taught many kids, many adults, many things, and I don't charge because I don't believe that the lesson is about you paying money. The lesson with the horses isn't about money. It's about learning how to work with animals, which is God's creation, and then learning how to use and apply those principles in daily life so that you're a better person and you're able to then use your skills to help other people as well. That's how I see it, but other people don't see it this way. The world has turned into a den of thieves, people who are full of hypocrisy. They don't want to, when it really comes down to it, they don't really want to help anybody except themselves. They'll put their tithing money in their church because they believe God will bless them and give them 10 times more. It's a greedy thing. It's not about that they're doing it because they want it to go to the people that need it. They're doing it because they want to be blessed. And you see Christians constantly praying, please God bless me and give me this, give me that. Really? I mean, that sounds a little bit like you're an ungrateful, taking person to me. Probably narcissistic. Who the heck knows? I don't really know. But I don't think it's right. I think that any blessings anybody has is to be used for the right reasons. You know. So I don't give to churches anymore, or places like Salvation Army or St Vincent de Paul or any of those organisations. They're wealthy as hell, and they don't use it in the right way. They use it in the wrong way. They don't actually help people. And they look down at people, they put their nose down at people. It's really disgusting. Shouldn't do it. But it's nothing like what God would be doing if God was actually on earth right now, in a physical form. They'll never even be able to tell once if Jesus was to come back here, they wouldn't even be able to tell him. They would write him off. He'd be written off. He wouldn't be allowed inside their mega churches. I can tell you that now. They'd be kicking him the heck out. He'd be told to leave. He'd be escorted out into the car parks and told to leave, or he'd be, yet again arrested by foolish idiots. But that's how it is. See, people just don't learn. They don't understand, and they don't know how to interpret things. They don't know. What they don't get is that they don't get that there's a way that is expected of human beings towards other human beings. And it doesn't just involve being nice. It also involves teaching them a lesson, teaching the people, saying the hard yards. All these mega churches, they don't do the hard yards. What they do is they do all the nice stuff, because the nice stuff gets money. You start telling someone they're sinning, they won't come back to church, will they? No, they bloody well won't. So this is why they don't talk about that. But anyway, I don't really give two hoots about them all, but I did have a go at one today and called the pastor out, and what did they do? Of course they had to block me, because God's not mighty enough to stop me in my tracks, is he? They obviously don't believe in the mighty God. If God was so mighty, God would have stopped me if he wanted me to stop. He didn't seem to have a problem with me calling them people out, but they did, so I was like, okay. Well, that just goes to show me you have no faith in anything at all. You people are full of shit. You just want to be relevant. They want to just have a concert every week and act like they're some kind of superstar, because they wouldn't make it in the mainstream musical industry. So they have to try and do it. A lot of these musicians that do the Christian music, they're the biggest hypocrites of the lot. They're only there because they can't make it in normal music streams. That's all. So they go to church. Isn't that right, little Willy Wagtail? You don't need money. Look after your babies. Yeah. This is the thing. The churches need to get real with people and help the right people. Jesus did not hang around rich people with money who drive Bentleys and whatever cars they have and live in mansions. He hung around people who had nothing at all. I went to a church recently. I'm going to call that church out too. I went to a church and I got told off by the pastor because they tried to give me money, right? They tried to give me a voucher for food, and it was a substantial amount of money. When I found the voucher had been stuffed in my bag and I found the voucher, I looked at it And then I noticed there were two people sitting behind me who were stick thin. And when I introduced myself to them, they were like, oh, um, they're like, we're here because we're homeless and we're hungry. And so I knew as soon as I found this voucher in my bag after the sermon that was where that was supposed to go. But no, they give it to somebody who's got a cupboard full of food. And wrong way to go. So what did I do? I gave it to another lady and said to her, I don't know where this came from, but those people over there are supposed to have this. I'm pretty sure that's who's supposed to get it. They need it. And she went and gave it to them, so they didn't know where it came from. But she went and gave it to them. Anyway, the pastor came over to me about 10 minutes later and had a go at me. She was like, that was not meant to be for them. They're drug addicts. They shouldn't have that. And I was like, well, you're not very Christ-like, are you? This is what Jesus would have done. He would have given it to the people who actually bloody need it, not to somebody who... I said, I've got a cupboard full of food. She's like, that was for your petrol to get here and go home. I said, I don't have to come here to talk to God. I can talk to God perfectly fine wherever I go because God's not in your church. God is everywhere. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. Needless to say, I don't go to that church anymore. They showed their true colours straight away. And they thought I had money because I got horses and stuff. They thought I had money. I don't have money. I'm not rich. I worked really, really hard when I was younger and I got what I got. But I don't have money now. But I'm careful with what I do have, and what I do have, I do the right thing with. And my horses are primarily, the reason I have them is so that I can get other people who have never had the opportunity to experience something like them to come out and for free. They don't have to pay and fork out $80 to go and see a horse. It's astronomically ridiculous. It's wrong. You shouldn't have to pay. I get people need to have a living. I get that. But what about the people who can't pay? What about the kids who don't get a go? Not their fault that they're born into poverty. But you never see these riding places going, well, you know what, I'm going to make a space for a kid each week. One time a week, I'm going to make a space for one kid who has nothing. I'm going to go around the schools, ask the schools, and get them to tell me which one needs it the most. You don't see that happen because people don't give two shits about it. They don't care about anything like that. They're too busy lying in their pockets. You know, I struggle too sometimes with the horses and with feeding them, but the thing is, I always find a way to do it. There's always a way. Something always happens that works out so I can actually get everyone fed. And I know it's because it's supposed to be done this way. I'm supposed to give back to people. You know, the best thing you can do for a fellow human being is be kind and actually acknowledge them and actually listen to them, give them the time of day. And sometimes it's hard to do because sometimes we get stuck in our own little worlds and stuff, or we get unwell or we get sick or whatever. But oftentimes I always say every day, if you're going out and about, pick somebody that you see that doesn't look too happy and go up and have a conversation, say hello. Say hello. They might not want to talk, but say hello. Give them a compliment. I often choose to compliment elderly people because elderly people are never complimented. You might get pretty girls will get a compliment, or good-looking young men will get a compliment, or someone who's doing something that looks spectacular will get a compliment. But it's the people who get nothing. That's who we should be concentrating on. One kind word can be all the difference between you making somebody's life a hell of a lot better. Even for months on end, they can go off one person being kind one day. That can be enough to keep them going for months and months. It's like recharging a battery. The battery of hope that there's mankind out there that's not horrible. This is the thing. People don't get it. And I wish people would, but really they don't. And I mean, I shut myself away a lot of the time from the world because the world is not a nice place. But let me tell you, I will be the first person, if I see that you're struggling with a bag of groceries, I guarantee you I will run to you and try and help you. That's how we should all be. And I do see other people who are like that. And then I compliment the people I see who are doing that, because I think it has to be encouraged. Sometimes I'll see a kid that'll get to someone before I can, and the kid will pick up what the old lady's dropped or whatever and help them. And I think, and then I'll go and say to the kid, you are a good kid. Good on you for doing that. And it's not that you're praising them because you want them to, get an ego. You're praising them because you want them to keep doing the right thing and to continue it. That's how it is. Encouragement. If you encourage people to do the right thing, and you see those people who go around on the YouTube doing things. A lot of them, they do it for their own glory because they make a lot of money because people donate to their channels all the time, and they do make a lot of money out of it. But that's the sort of thing that actually does work if you give people compliments. But see, God says, don't hide your light under a bushel. Go out there and what skills and good stuff you have, use it for the right reasons. Use it to do the right thing by other people. Give people joy. Even if you don't have a specific thing to give, it costs nothing to give time and a compliment. It costs nothing. Instead of going into a goddamn mega church and hiding in a pew, sitting in a bunch of chairs, rocking on like you're at some kind of rock concert, and pretending that you give two hoots about people. It's a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite if you do that. Anyone who goes to church and then sees a homeless person on the bloody sidewalk lying there rolling around starving to death and does nothing is a hypocrite. You're not of God or anything. You're not even human. You're not even of humanity. You don't even care enough to give a hoot about your own people. I get it. People take drugs and they're stupid for taking them. I get it. I've been around people that do that many times in my life, seen people die from it. It's horrible. But at the end of it, if you dive down deep enough, they're a human being somewhere in there that honestly may not be in that position if somebody actually showed them the right way and how to care. This is the thing. You don't be stupid and give them $300, but if they're hungry, buy them a meal. Ask them, is there a meal I can get you? Can I get you a meal? Or can I get you a drink? Can I get you a cup of water? Something to help. Those people notice when people care, because very, very rarely do people care about them. And that's the whole thing. That's why I like working with horses and horses working with people, especially kids that come from backgrounds that are poor and kids that come from backgrounds that have trouble, where they've got, they're getting bullied, they're getting beaten up, they get bad home life or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter what it is. Once they get in and they work with one of God's creatures like the horse, they get confidence then. They feel like they're worth something. They want to give back. They want to do things for other people then. They want to actually be a good person. It changes their mindset. It resets them. We sit inside concrete buildings. We don't go outside anymore. And some of us can't because we're stuck in the city and there's nothing we can do. It's a hard world. It really is. It's shit. The way things are. Which is why we need more kind people. And I'm not saying everybody has to run around and give every cent they have to somebody, but just be kind in some way, shape or form. If you're someone who's at school still and you see someone who's being bashed up and bullied, don't ignore it. If you're too scared to go against the bully, don't worry about that. But go up and at least be kind to the person who's copping it. Just give a kind word. It might be the difference between that kid being able to come to school and learn or getting out on drugs on the street. Life is fast and hard. But do what you can that's good in the world. Start in your own backyard, be kind to those around you, and then spread it out as much as you can. I'm going to stop preaching. That's my sermon for the day. Not that I'm a pastor, but I should be. I probably should be a pastor, because this is what a pastor should be saying, but they're not. They're asking people to put money in the bag at the church. What happened to God will provide? Let God provide. Don't ask poor people for money. Go and get them and bring them into your church. Sit them at the bloody front. If there's a poor man that can play a guitar and sing, put him up on your stage. But no, you won't, because you're too busy egotistically drowning in your own ego. This is what they do. And I hope one of you bastards from that mega church is watching my channel right now and you get it this time, because you're a bit stupid sometimes. It's a bit thick-headed. You're seeing dollars. You're not seeing any sense. And you need some sense, see? Yes, I am not dumb. I'm smart and clever. But these church people, they need to really have a good think about what do they actually worship. Do they worship their pastor and their mega church, or do they worship God? One or the other. You can't worship God and man. You can't do it. I'm no shining example of anything. I don't run around trying to force God down people's throats. But I have conversations with people about faith and things like that, and they might believe in a completely different God to me. I don't care. It doesn't matter if they don't believe in the same God as me. What it's about is faith and them believing in something. The real God will reveal itself, and it isn't what man says it is. The real God is nothing like what man says. The real God is first and foremost one that you don't want to mess with, because you won't come out of it well. It's everything. It's got every aspect that there is. And I say it because we have to say he or him or whatever, but I call God it most of the time because I don't know what it is. And everybody says, oh, we all know. No, you don't. You don't know anything. Not one human being's ever come back from the grave after being dead for 6 weeks and said anything. The only person who's come back from the grave is, well, Lazarus came back from the grave, and Jesus. That's it. But Lazarus might have only been dead for a couple of minutes. It wasn't. Was it Lazarus? No, Lazarus was healed from the... Hang on, who was the leper? I can't remember who was who. I think Lazarus did come up from the dead. Oh, shit, I can't remember who's what. But anyway, somebody got raised from the dead. And then that little girl who was sleeping, she got raised from the dead. Well, some people say she was asleep. Some people say she was dead. Jesus said she was sleeping. But this is the whole thing. It's not even hard to just put yourself in someone else. It's called empathy. Put yourself in someone else's shoes and think about it. You know, sometimes I have people who pull up here. I had a family pull up one day. It was a mum, dad, and 2 kids. And I was really buggered. It was a stinking hot day. I just finished riding a horse, and they spotted me out on the horse, so they pulled up, and they said, oh, would you mind, and I went over and I was like, oh, can I help you? And they're like, oh, would you mind if we pat the horse? And I said, no, that's not a problem. So I ended up spending nearly 2 hours with this family, letting their kids see the horses. Their kids had never touched a horse, never been near one. And they said, they'd been on holidays. They said it was the highlight of their holidays. Their kids would never forget it. And they took all these photos and everything. It was really lovely. And those kids, honestly, had I been this grouchy old person, which most people are grouchy out in the wet farmlands, they're just like had enough of shit. So that's why they're out there. They don't want to be in town. But they wouldn't have been able to have had the joy of meeting a horse. It's so simple to do. Give a couple of minutes at a time. I do it all the time. I love doing it. I love being able to give back to people. I remember being a kid, and I was lucky I was around horses the majority of my life, but there were times when I didn't have any access to any horses, and I'd see people who had horses, and they would just not give me the time of day. They wouldn't let me pat the horses or anything. I'd be like, well, how mean is that? But, you know, I was in a children's home, and I was lucky there was a horse in the paddock. That's how I learned to ride. Actually broke a horse in at 6.5 years of age. And this is the thing. I had no idea what I was doing, but the horse taught me everything. And all these people squabble about everything. Like they squabble about, oh, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that. The horse will tell you if you're not doing something right. They will give you the answer very quickly. They will knock you off, or they will kick you or bite you, or whatever it is that they're going to do if they don't want to do something. They'll let you know. You've got to learn to communicate with them. Once you learn how to communicate with them, then they're really good. But I've got to go. I've got some lessons to do now, and it should be fun. Anyway, if you're ever driving past my place and you see me horses and you want to have a go, just bip your horn, and don't just walk in though, because the dogs might get you. But bip your horn, and I'll come out. And if I don't come straight out, bip a few times. I'll come out. But if I'm not home, don't come in, because the dogs will get you. But they won't be able to tell that you're invited in. My dogs are good; they're trained well. But if you're not invited in, they might bite. They will bail you up, that's for sure. But this is the thing. Like you got to. I don't even know. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Have a great day, and don't do too much crazy things. But if you see a person that looks down or whatever, or even if they don't look down, they might just be walking along, say hello, be kind, be nice. Be nice. And give someone a compliment. Just anything. Yeah. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you.